Hey Yeg Nation, we're here with Mimi Williams at, what is this cafe?
Take 5.
Take 5. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
So we're here out in Ward 7 right now, and Mimi, just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're running for.
Well, I'm running for City Council for Ward 7. I'm a mom. I've raised my 2 boys here in Ward 7, and I have an honors degree in political science, where I looked at women's citizenship and in areas of work. I'm a grad school dropout. I studied under Jim Lightbody, where I looked at the Edmonton region and the way we have so many municipalities offering services to citizens. I thought that we could look at ways in delivering those more cost effectively and at a better quality for citizens.
I love the background. So in Ward 7, our viewers may not know what the biggest issues are and the hot button topics for what's going on in Ward 7, so if you would like to let them know what those are.
Well, crime and disorder has been really peaking this summer. We've had several murders. We're carrying our weight when it comes to Edmonton Committee, contributing to the highest homicide rate in the country. We have issues around traffic safety, and looming on a lot of minds are questions around the future of Northlands, what's going to happen to the Coliseum, and how is that going to affect our communities and the people in them.
Yeah, we did spend a lot of money buying that, didn't we?
Well, it shows a real lack of foresight on the council. Some of us were saying, what about the Coliseum, what about Northlands 10 years ago? And now they're all acting surprised that suddenly they need to come up with a plan. So I'm hopeful that the new council, which will include me, will take some time to come up with a really well thought out plan for those lands and that building.
Perfect. Okay, so you are running, and we're trying to get young people out to vote. We're trying to get young people involved. That's kind of like the whole thing with Yeg Nation. So, what have you done in the past, and what are you doing like in the future to try and get young people out to vote and get involved with their community?
Well, I'm proud that my boys are very engaged, and all of their friends have been voting from the moment that they could. I'm deeply connected with young people. For example, this was a provincial issue, but when Jim Prentice's Bill 10 was going to have severe restrictions around GSAs, I noticed that he was going to do a Christmas tree lighting ceremony down at the legislature that evening. So I reached out to some of my high school friends and in the LGBT community and said, hey, you might want to go greet them and sing some Christmas carols.
Yeah.
And so there was a massive rally. The Premier didn't show up and the legislation was changed the next day. I'm all about creating space for people to do things. I don't necessarily have to do it, but if I can create space for young people to put forward their own agenda, then I'm game to do that.
And speaking of that, in terms of space, like we're trying to create, we're trying to get like more women out involved, and we're trying to get like more cultural diversity in City Council. That's like one of the things we've been asking all the candidates is how do you plan to do that? What have you done? And how do you keep like pushing that mandate forward?
Well, if I'm elected, I will be the very first Afro-Canadian woman in the history of this city to be elected. In fact, I would be the very first Afro-Canadian person ever elected to Edmonton City Council.
Oh, really?
So I think that's going to beef up our cultural diversity cred right there.
Yeah, right there.
But I've worked on more seriously, I've worked on anti-racism initiatives in the feminist movement, in the labor movement for 30 years. Equity is what drives me, and certainly we've got too few appointments to our agencies, boards, and commissions. It's not just council that has a lack of women and people of color on it. I will push to make sure that those appointments also reflect our community. This place looks a lot different than it did when I moved here in 1986. It looks a lot different than it did when you were born. And I think our council and our institutions really need to look like our city. And I'm going to work very hard, as I always have, to make that happen.
Okay, so we're out here at Take 5 Cafe. Why did you bring us here?
Because these are the best donuts in the entire city, and I want the whole city to know about Take 5 donuts, and everybody needs to come up here to 118th Ave and grab a donut.
If you didn't know, I love donuts, so I'm pretty excited to try them. I have a bag right over there. I'm just gonna
If you don't love donuts, there's something wrong with you. Really. Sorry, gluten people. Yes. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can get gluten-free donuts.
I think you can get gluten-free donuts.
And vegan donuts.
You can get all kinds of donuts. This is Canada. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just wrap up a little bit here. So if there's anything you want to tell our viewers at Yeg Nation, just give us a last little speech. Get them out voting and tell them what they need to do.
Ward 7 needs change. We need a councillor with fresh ideas. We need a councillor who's going to show up, and I think that I'm that change. So on October 16th, vote for Mimi Williams in Ward 7. Thanks, YEG Nation.
Awesome. Yeg Nation, get out and vote October 16th. It's a Monday. Get your voice heard, make your vote count. It's been great meeting you, Mimi.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Enjoy the donuts.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
See you later, Yeg Nation.